Today's lesson is about the entrance procession. Those of us who are over 50 years old will remember when there was no opening procession to begin Mass. The priest and a couple servers simply walked out into the sanctuary, which is the area around the altar, from the sacristy, which is the place where the priest puts on his vestments. The only exception was when the bishop came to a parish. Then there was always a procession, just as there was when the Pope celebrated Mass. In 1963, the Vatican Council published the Constitution on Sacred Liturgy, and many things began to change. What many of us don't know is that most of the changes were not new. They were attempts to reintroduce many very old ways of celebrating Mass, including the opening procession. For instance, as long ago as the year 701 AD, there is a record of a procession to begin Mass in Rome. The entrance procession has its roots in the military parades that the Romans and other ancient armies would have when they experienced a military victory. Our procession isn't just a way to get farther to the altar. Its purpose is to gather everyone together, to begin with something unifying, a procession and singing, bringing a sense of joyous celebration and setting the theme for the celebration of the Mass. Our music director always carefully selects a processional hymn to fit the occasion, and we actually should sing it to the end, or at least to some thematic conclusion, not just end it when Father gets to the altar. A server carries a crucifix bearing the likeness of the crucified Christ. That server is followed by additional servers, the lector, deacon, priest, and then all the parishioners who are late for Mass. At the head of the aisle, the server turns, and each person, unless they are carrying the cross, candles, or book of the Gospels, bows his or her head as a sign of reverence for this sign of Christ. I mentioned cross and crucifix during this. Let me explain the difference. A cross is simply the cross without the body of Christ on it. The crucifix contains and carries the body of Christ. Stay tuned for our next lesson, which is the veneration of the altar.